Okay, ladies and gentlemen, tricksters from the second YouTube channel, your Radiant coach today is doing the analysis of the new patch notes and everything that is coming into the Act 2 Episode 7. In the Act 2 Episode 7, we're probably getting a new skin line that is based on the dragon theme. You already saw, Jade, Obsidian, like Emerald, like skins, like Editor Frost, like put the skins somewhere here, like you're gonna see them. Also, we're getting a new map that is called Sunset. I mean, that's the code name of the map, like only God knows if that's gonna be the name of the map. It is the map in North America. It's like based in LA, and some of the sources said that the map is going to have like 2 bomb sites, and there's not gonna be a single gimmick. So essentially the map is gonna be something like Ascent or Split, which is okay. I personally prefer these type of maps over the maps such as Fracture or I mean, Fracture was the one that I don't, it doesn't go with my vibe, at least for ranked solo queue. Like, for ranked solo queue, playing Fracture is pain in the ass, literally. Like, let's be honest. Now, when it comes to, like, to the new Valorant patch notes, like, there's a lot of the agent changes, and these changes will impact the game, and they will impact the tier list of the agents quite a lot. But a lot, literally. Like, the meta is shifting in a whole new direction. I think Valorant is preparing themselves for the release of the new duelist. I really feel the new duelist is probably gonna bring something new into the game, and that essentially, like, this is just preparation for us for a new duelist, new map, and that's why they are nerfing and buffing some of the agents. Now, let's start with the patch notes and what is new in Valorant. So first thing, the Breach is getting a bit of the buff and a bit of a nerf. Like, his aftershock ticks got reduced from 3 to 2, and damage got increased from 60 to 80. I personally think that this is a bit of a buff, even though the overall damage is reduced, and your time to stop, a push or to pull the enemies of a certain position is a bit lower, because we have only 2 ticks instead of the 3 ticks. I still feel, if you stun somebody and you get 2 ticks onto someone, that guy is dead. Like you're overally, you will apply more damage with Breach these days, I think. And I really feel that these Breach changes are really good for the aftershock. Like, very good change. Now, the Rolling Thunder got from 8 to 9 points. That's kind of like, I don't know. It got nerfed a bit. I get the idea, like, Valorant wants to nerf all of these AoE abilities in the game. But I don't know, man. Like his Rolling Thunder is not that powerful as some of the other ultimates in the game. If I was to be asked, like, I would just keep it at 8, to be honest. Like sometimes, even when you get stunned by the Breach, you can hit a lucky headshot and kill an enemy. Like, this ultimate is definitely not as powerful as Killjoy's Lockdown or Brimstone's ultimate or something like that. Like, I don't know. But overall, a bit of the buff and a bit of a nerf, depending in which direction you look right here. Overall, I would, leave it to, at the B, A tier as the agent. Like, he's not bad, like, just depending which map you're playing and in which elo. Brimstone's ultimate went from 7 points to 8 points. This is a really, really good change in a good direction, in my opinion, because his ultimate is very powerful. Let's be honest. Like with his ultimate, you can take so much space control. You can play the post plants. You can deny enormous amount of space. Like, his ultimate is really good. Let's be honest. And I really like this change, now that we need to rely more on our regular abilities instead of the stupid ultimates. Like, ultimates in this game really seemed way too OP, and they were removing that gunplay factor from the game, and also the ability factor from the game. Like, I mean, you're just farming the orbs left and right. Like, you get, like, what? You can get, like, 3 Brimstone ultimates on 1 half, if you're a good Brimstone player, if you actually take some kills. So, essentially, this is a change in a really good direction. I like it a lot. Good. Next change, Fade. Prowler, time to re-equip the gun takes slightly longer after using the ability. This is also good. Essentially, they don't want you to use the Fade in the same way that you would use the sky with a, pop flash. So Fade is more of an initiator that takes the space for the team, relies for her teammates to essentially go out, and, like sometimes, it is kind of a bit of annoying when a Fade does a Prowler, and then, like, she equips the gun, Prowler is coming in your face, and she's shooting you in the head, So this is a really good change as well, like, more of a quality of a life change than actually some kind of a nerf. Yes, it's a bit of a nerf, but nothing significant. Like, I really feel that, this is how the character should... I apologize. This is how the character should actually be played. Gecko received a bit of the nerfs and a bit of the buffs, but overall, I think that Gecko received a significant buff in his kit. So now his mosh pit is like a mosh pit plus the Viper Molotov, or Brimstone Molotov, essentially. So, essentially, when you drop a mosh pit, that area that is impacted deals 10 damage per second before exploding. So I think now with the mosh pit, you will be able to destroy the Killjoy's lockdown, some of the agent's abilities, and now the mosh pit is not gonna be a useless ability from which you can just escape, because Gecko doesn't have any lockdown, like Gecko doesn't have any real combo that you can actually use, and essentially, like, this is a really good change, really good buff for the Gecko. I love playing Gecko. I have over 50% plus win rate, like 55, 60% win rate with Gecko overall in episode 6 and episode 7, so this is gonna just make him even more viable. And this is a very good, like, map control change, and also for very good... Now, Mosh Pit is going to be very, very good ability for the post plants as well, in denying the space of the enemies. Like, for example, you're playing Lotus, you're playing on a defender side, you want to take the aim and control. Now, enemies are going to take some damage if they want to travel through your Mosh Pit into the aim in area of the map. Very good change. And I really hope that the Mosh Pit is going to be able to destroy the Killjoy's lockdown, because that is one of the main purposes of... I mean, that is one thing that I'm kind of missing from the Mosh Pit. Like, just an ability to counter the enemies a bit. Now, Wingman HP got reduced from 100 to 80. Who cares? I think this is going to be insignificant. Anyways, you're primarily using the Wingman to recon a certain area of the map, to plant the spike, to defuse the spike, to aggress the enemies and push them with the Wingman, so... Cool, sure, whatever. And his ultimate, Explosion, had a little makeover to make it easier to see and understand the area that it has affected. So essentially just a visual change for the ultimate. Overall, Gecko, very good agent for the ranked solo queue in my opinion. I mean, other initiators are still a bit better in the high elo lobbies, such as Sky, Breach, KO. But I feel that Gecko is still a very viable pick, depending on which map you play him. On Lotus he's very good, on Pearl he's very good. So essentially, good changes. Like, this is gonna even out the playground in that initiator segment. Killjoy Ultimate got increased from 8 to 9 points, babies. Skippity dip, dap, dap, yep. To be honest, I would put this at 10 fucking ultimate points. Like, this ultimate is the most annoying shit in the game right now, at least for me. Like, I really feel it's way too OP if you're not pushing the enemies on... Like, you're kind of forced to pressure the enemies 24/7 on defense when the Killjoy has the ultimate, especially on the maps such as Fracture, Lotus, Haven, etc, etc. Like, very good change. I like it a lot. This needed some kind of a nerf. Like, there was such a stupid ultimate, generally, in the game. If you don't have an agent that can counter this, ultimate, you're kind of fucked, basically. Like, if you're not taking the space from the enemies. Like, the main thing that Valorant needs right now is some kind of agent picking system and a map picking system. I mean, they are removing the Fracture and Pearl in favor of Breeze and Sunset. And also the Icebox is probably gonna come into the map pool, like, in Act 3 of Episode 7. But, bro, like, give me an option. We have 10 maps in Valorant. We have 10 maps in Valorant. When am I gonna get a map picking system? When we get 20 maps? Like, let me choose, like, 6 maps to play. I remove 4 maps, and that's it. Same as CSGO. What's the problem? And also, the agent picking system is very important. We don't need to have like a, the banning phase or something like that. Just let me see what enemies are gonna pick so I can actually counter the enemies. Like a lot of times I'm playing matches in Radiant Elo where, enemies pick such a heavy team composition that is, heavy Sentinel team composition, and I cannot counter them at all. Like I pick Omen or Jet or something like that, and we have like 2 or 3 duelists, and enemies have like on Fracture, like like Killjoy, Brimstone, Breach, Fade, like give me a break, man, And I have nothing to destroy their utility. Like I really feel that map picking system and agent picking system needs to be implemented in Valorant as a quality of life change for this game. Like, it doesn't need to be a ban system or some shit like that. Like, just let me choose the maps I want to play and let me see which agents enemies have on the opposing side. Omen received a bit of a change overall. Like, I really feel that this changes nothing. So basically, previously with Omen, we had like a fast, slow, and medium paranoia speed, depending whether you're moving forward, standing in one place, or moving backwards. And now there is no movement velocity when you're using a paranoia, when you're using the flash, and okay. I mean, this is something that you're not even thinking about when you're playing Valorant, to be honest, and most of the times, like, it's not gonna matter at all. Like, it's like this change is like whatever, basically. Now, when it comes to the sky changes, this is another changes I like. Oh, I'm sorry, I hit you guys. Let me kiss you. Sorry, boys. When it comes to the sky changes, these are the changes I like a lot, bro. Sky is very annoying agent to be played against, and I really feel that Sky in high elo lobbies is way too OP. Like, the amount of times I get pop flashed, I die in some kind of a stupid way, like dodging her flashes, quite impossible. Like, a good Sky player in Radiant lobbies is a monster, basically. Like, and these changes, sehr gut. Sehr gut. Ja, ich approve deine changes, Valorant. So, her guiding light, her flash duration got reduced from 2.5 seconds to 2 seconds. So now she cannot take, enormous amount of information with her flash. Flash doesn't last that long, so casting, duration got reduced. Very good. Trailblazer, her dog HP got reduced from 100 to 88 HP, health points, which is also good. Now I can easily destroy the dog before he comes into my face. And her ultimate got increased from 7 ult points to 8 ult points, and the Seeker health decreased from 150 to 120 points. These nerfs are significant for Sky, and once again, Valorant is just evening the playing field of initiator agents. After these changes, I really feel that all of the initiators are gonna be on the equal levels. Like Sky, Fade, Breach, Gecko, KO. All of the initiators are gonna be on the same level, and essentially, like, very good changes. I like it a lot. Like finally, Valorant is doing something in a good direction. Now, moving to the Sova changes. Another good change. Recon Bolt total number of scans got reduced from 3 to 2 scans. Very good change. Now, I'm not gonna be annoyed by, like, basically, why are these changes good? Because I felt in the last 1 year of playing Valorant that I'm playing Overwatch, man. Like there's no gunplay, there is no outplay potential. Like abilities are way too OP in general, especially ultimate abilities. That a lot of times when you're in a 1 versus 1 scenario, 2 versus 2 scenario, like, it's hard. Like, you're playing based on luck and based on timings, like, essentially. So, very good change. I like it a lot. Sova players cry in the chat. I don't give a shit. Very good change. Viper Ultimate Pit got increased from 8 to 9 points. Another splendid change. Is this significant? Yes. Like, to be honest, like, Viper Ultimate used by a good player on defender side can basically win you the whole round. Like, pushing through the Viper Pit is borderline impossible against the good Viper players. And if your teammates don't have a good coordination, good map and game awareness, or good utility usage, pushing through the Viper Pit to maybe plant the spike, retake the spike, or to defuse the spike, I mean, it's basically a round one. If you have a Viper player that understands how to play around her pit and what she should do. Very good change. I like it a lot. All of the praises to the Valorant developers. This is the first time, actually, in years that Valorant did something good for this game. You know, to make it a bit more accessible to an average ranked player in solo queue. All of these changes are primarily focused towards esports, of course. You know, like the whole Valorant is focused towards esports. You know, they need to sell you that dream that you need to become an esports pro player and that you will become a pro player. But reality is that only 0.0001% of the players will actually do that. But who cares? I care more about the ranked community, you know, like about I want to enjoy this game. I want to play, you know, solo queue with my friends, or I just want to coach players, like make them understand the game on the higher level so they can potentially be maybe esports players. Like, I want to enjoy the game. Like an average player that is coming into Valorant from, I don't know, CSGO or something like that. Like, bro, come on. Very good changes. Now, I don't say that Valorant should be CSGO or CSGO should be Valorant. I just say that, you know, the game felt like I'm playing Overwatch instead of playing, you know, Valorant. Now, Astra got a bit of nerfs as well, and I like it a lot. So the gravity well startup time increased from 0.6 to 1.25. So essentially, you know, before you can pull in someone, there needs to be a wind up time of 1.25 seconds. So that gives you more time to escape the gravity well. And the gravity well time duration got decreased from 2.75 to 2.0. So basically her gravity well, like Saki Sak ability, will be a bit less useful for the post plants and also for pushing the bomb sets. Like, it's just gonna deny an area of the map or space for significantly lower time, and I like it a lot. Not bad. Now, Nova Pulse, which is her stun concussion, startup time decreased from 1.25 to 1.0. So this is a bit of a buff for Astra. Basically, now you can stun the players a bit faster, which makes this ability much more useful to essentially, like, push the enemies, pressure the enemies, and, you know, like, go for some aggressive plays instead of just using it in a passive way. Not bad. Not that significant, to be honest. Like, you know, this doesn't change that much, but balance in a good direction. And now her ultimate ability is blocking completely the sound on the other side of the wall. So when you place the Astra wall, the Astra ultimate, you don't hear shit on the other side of the wall. So you can plant the spike safely. You can push an area of the map safely. So this is a huge buff. But also in the same time, you know, it can be a nerf as well. Like, depends. Like, generally speaking, Astra Wall is, you know, a hit or miss ability. Like depends in which scenario you're using it and how the enemies and how your teammates are gonna play around the wall. Sometimes it can be dangerous. You know, enemies can still pop flash you and kill you. Sometimes it can be very useful to take the space, plant the spike, play with the wall in the post plant and defuse the spike from the enemies. I don't know. Like, overall, a bit of the buffs and nerfs left and right. But I feel that these changes are W changes and changes in a very good direction. And now, the main reason why this patch is so significant and the only reason why I hate it absolutely is Jet changes. Now, does Jet deserves a nerf? Absolutely. Are the nerfs that the Jet got in this patch justified? Absolutely not. Like, what the fuck? There's not a single agent that got this many nerfs ever in Valorant. And she's not that powerful. Like, I mean, yes, she's still the most used duelist in general. But to be honest, like, Raze Yoru, Phoenix, Reyna, like all of the other duelists were catching up as well. This is gonna put Jett maybe below every single duelist in the game. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, first of all, her dash ability. So, let's talk about this. First of all, the dash ability window time to use it got decreased from 12 seconds to 7.5 seconds. So basically now, you have only 7.5 seconds to use your dash ability before it fully disappears. I feel that this change is insignificant because a good Jett player that understands when to use the dash ability will be able to still use it freely no matter what. The only reason why this change is significant is if your push is getting delayed, or you're getting delayed for the retake of the bomb site. You know, you might lose the dash ability if you use it at the wrong moment of time. Or if enemies use some kind of a Molotov or ability through which your teammates cannot pass, you need to make a decision. Am I going in alone? Or am I resetting myself and playing with my teammates and losing my dash ability? So essentially, I don't feel that this change is significant enough. You know, basically, what are they doing with Jett? They're making the skill ceiling of this agent a bit higher. Because let's be honest, in closed beta and episode 1 and episode 2, even an idiot can reach Radiant with Jett. Like, for example, around 30% of players that I coached them on Jett and Omen. And from these 30% of players, 25% of the players reached, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6 ranks higher than what they were before. Not 30%. I think, like, I coached actually, what am I talking about? I coached 80% of players on Jett and Omen. And from these 80%, 75% reached such a high ranks, like, just from these two characters. Like, for example, Wuhujin. I coached Wuhujin for 2 months, and after 9 months, he reached Radiant by only playing Jett. Like, the agent was just stupid. Then he got changed again. You know, he got nerfed a bit, and those nerfs were fine. But now these nerfs, like, you know, the only way to justify these nerfs is Valorant just wants to change the meta so that other duelists are used a bit more. Or Valorant wants to, you know, make a space for a new duelist that is going to be similar to what Jett is doing. Also, her dash ability, activation wind-up time, got increased from 0.75 seconds to 1 second. So once you activate the dash ability, you'll be able to use it after 1 second. Is this significant? Yeah, like, to be honest, like, you know, 0.25 seconds sometimes can decide whether or not you're going to be able to push in, whether or not you're going to live in a specific fight when the enemies are pushing you. So it is significant change, to be honest. Like, this change to the dash ability just hires up the skill ceiling of mastering the Jett and being a good Jett player. Smoke changes. Like, what is this, bro? Like, from 4.5 seconds to 2.5 seconds. Like, now when you're executing a bomb site with Jett, you quite literally need to, you don't have time to stay in the smoke. If you're dashing in with a smoke is disappearing. You need to pick a duel. This change is maybe the worst change and the most impactful one. Like, now, when you're using your smokes, like, they're like nothing. Do you know what is 2.5 seconds? It's nothing. Like, you're pushing the site, activating the dash ability, using the smoke, dashing into the smoke. You have maybe 1 second to decide which angle you want to clear and where you want to pick the enemies. Like, hello? You know, give me a boombot. Give me a boombot instead of the smoke now. Like, this is so stupid, you know? Like, plus, you know, now you cannot stick the defuse. When you're on the defender side, you cannot smoke the spike anymore and defuse the spike, half defuse it. You don't have time to do that. You cannot, like, block the enemy's vision and use the one-way jet smokes to stop the enemy's push. Is just stupid. Like, this is such a huge nerf. And I don't get it. Like this is, like, completely ruining the agent. And, you know, before the changes, Jet was S+ tier character. After the changes, Jet is, like, maybe A-, the bottom of A tier. Now, another change that I don't understand is updraft got decreased from 2 charges to 1 charge. So double updrafts, not possible anymore. Using the ultimate with updraft, like, you know, is gonna be a bit harder. The spots where you need two updrafts to reach them or to kill the enemies, not possible anymore. When you're using the updraft, you will need to think 2 steps ahead whether or not you should use the updraft at that moment of time. And to be honest, like, this is another, in my opinion, unnecessary change that is completely ruining this agent. Like, I firmly believe after these changes come into Valorant, Jet, like, and after the new duelist comes out, I feel the Jet is gonna be, like, A-, maximum A-. And not only that they change the smoke, but also your time to re-equip the gun takes longer. So when you dash into the site with the smoke, so imagine the scenario. So the scenario is like this: we're pushing the, let's say we're pushing the C set of Haven. So smokes are shorter, and it takes longer time to take out your gun. So we're pushing the C long of Haven. We're using this smoke to block enemy's vision, so that our teammates can push safely. The smoke is gonna disappear already when you're here. Now, we're using a second smoke from this position to enter the site, activating the dash ability, going in, taking the gun out. You have 0.5 to maximum 1 second to decide whether you want to push here and which angles you want to prioritize at that moment of time. Like, your game decisions and your coordination with your teammates needs to be perfect if you want to stay alive. I don't know, maybe from now on, like, you know, fuck smoking the choke points. Just use 2 smokes on the site, you know, like, I'm going in with a smoke, I'm using the second smoke in the middle of the dash to survive, and then peeking out. Like, I don't know. This is significant. Very, very significant. Now, when it comes to her ultimate, the ultimate points increased from 7 to 8. This is another change that is gonna impact Jet quite a lot. So essentially, you know, primary, how can I explain this? Primary use for the Jet ultimate is not actually to, you know, like, get some free kills or win the rounds. Like, essentially, primary usage of the Jet ultimate is a free gun and building a good economy for yourself and for your team. Meaning that you can play operator for more rounds. So essentially, you know, in some rounds, when I have the Jet ultimate, I can just buy a heavy shield, use the ultimate, buy the shorty, and that's it. I'm saving the money for the next round to buy operator. Now, with this ultimate points increased, you know, you're gonna have less ultimate and less rounds where you can play ultimate in eco and hull by rounds. So we will need to think hard whether or not we should use ultimate for that specific round. Overall, Jet changes are insanity, and I really feel that the icon in the Queen of Valorant has fallen, and essentially until the end of this year, I really feel when I make a new agents tier list and a new, you know, like agents guides, I think that I'm gonna put Jet almost below every single duelist except Reyna, probably. Maybe I'm gonna put Reyna higher, like if they buff Reyna, like basically if Valorant buffs Reyna just once, like, you know, Jet is out. GG to Jet. Like, what am I gonna do with all of these changes. So basically, when it comes to the maps, like I'm gonna cover all of the map changes and all of the map specific tips, tricks, rules, and strategies in my agents guides and the rank playbook that you can find on my Discord server. And I'm gonna cover every single map, and we're just gonna adapt to the changes. I think the breach changes are really good. The new map is probably gonna be good because it is a two lane map, 2 bomb set map. Basically, and I love those type of maps such as Split and Ascent and Bind, essentially. And there's no gimmicks on the map. Also, Fracture and Pearl are going out, which is good. Which is good, to be honest. Like, even though I have a very high win rate on Fracture and Pearl, I feel that playing Fracture and Pearl in solo queue can be a bit of a hustle. And the breach changes are going to make the map significantly better. Now, when it comes to, like, initiator changes, I think I'm going to stay with Gecko. I'm definitely going to be mastering Gecko over any other initiator. I really feel that Gecko is the easiest initiator to be played in the solo queue environment, all the way up to Immortal 3, and to carry the matches. After Immortal 3, it depends which map you're playing, to be honest. Like, and initiator changes are just the balance across all of the agents. When it comes to, like, ultimate changes, I like them a lot. Like, to be honest, you know, some of the ultimates in the games are obnoxious to be played against. And I really like that we're now focused more on our regular abilities, some proper strategies and tactics, and team play, reframe potential, gunplay, instead of just placing a Killjoy lockdown and pushing the bomb site. You know, that's kind of stupid. And when it comes to, like, Omen changes, nothing changes, basically. Like, Omen, like, to be honest, currently, the only 2 agents that I consider S-tier characters to climb the rank solo queue ladders and to fully improve as a player on every single skill set are Raze and Omen. If you master these 2 characters, every other character is gonna feel like a piece of cake for you, and I feel they're the most powerful characters to carry the lobbies between Iron 1 to Immortal 3, and even after Immortal 3 to some levels. Like, every other agent is balanced, and, you know, I really feel that we're gonna start seeing more Neon, more Phoenix, more Reynas, unfortunately, more Yoru, which I like a lot, to be honest. Like, Yoru is a very underrated character, and I like him a lot. Like, I really feel that Yoru is powerful, man. He's a good character. Like, I don't know why community is not using it more. When it comes to, like, you know, Astra and other characters. Sorry, guys. Muy bien balance. And when it comes to Jet, this is the last act of me maining Jet. And probably the last act I'm gonna touch this agent. And I'm officially moving to Raze, Omen, Gecko, Viper, Brimstone, Phoenix, Yoru, and some other agents. So essentially, I think from the next act, I mean, in the next act, we're doing Unranked to Immortal with Yoru. And I think my main 2 duelists to carry the game solo queue up to Radiant are gonna be Raze, Phoenix, and Yoru from the duelist picks. Jet is like, I don't know. I would much rather play Chamber than Jet after these changes, to be honest. Overall, Valorant has its own idea how this game should be played. They love to change the meta. They love to change the game in a specific direction for esports environment. They don't give a shit about you guys, about an average player that wants to enjoy this game. The only thing that Valorant thinks about is taking money from you, from the skins, selling you the dream of becoming an esports player, and essentially, like, you know, making you play this game 24/7 until you fall into depression and you wanna Sudoku yourself. I don't know. In the same time, I like this patch, but also hate it a bit. But overall, you know, I would rate this patch like 4 out of 5. Maybe one of the best patches that we had, like, in a long time for this game. Okay, guys. If you want to get my coaching, join my Discord server. Especially, you know, if some of your agents got fucked and you want to learn new agents, you know, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. On 50 Twitch subs, I'm doing the free VOD reviews and the giveaways on my Discord server as well. Yeah, that's my analysis of the new patch. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to leave a like, leave a comment, give me your opinions. Let's see in the next act how these changes are gonna impact the game. I really hate, you know, speaking about the changes in advance. I always like to speak about the changes and about specific topics based on my experience. Like, I still don't know what's gonna happen. God knows, maybe Jet is still gonna be good, or I don't know, like, the game is not gonna be changed that much. Like, for example, you know, 3 or 4 of my students were using this mouse in my coaching sessions, and I bought a fucking mouse so I can give them a recommendation whether or not this mouse is good and whether or not they should be using angle snapping. So I'm a really dedicated coach, and I usually love to speak from my experience instead of predicting the future. I'm not a wizard, I'm a fucking coach. Okay, that's it. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next analysis, baby!